Today I fucked up by unknowingly going through withdrawal. Warning if you're triggered or just grossed out by sickness stuff, physical and mental, or mention of medications. Also sorry for formatting, I'm still suffering from the consequences of my lack of action. So this isn't exactly a today F up, more like a this whole week F up, but here goes. So for context, I, 17, have been on meds for my depression and anxiety for almost 5 years now. Over the course of it I've missed a day or two with no consequence, and I've had doses heightened gradually without any side effects because I usually do things on schedule during the school year. That's when my F up begins. Since summer vacation started for me a week or two ago, I've been allowing myself to be incredibly lazy. I took my meds regularly for the first week because I had just filled them up on the last day of school. I refill my little pill sorter once a week. However, the day when it ran out I was sleepy, so I just decided, frick it, I can survive a day, I'll just do it tomorrow. Next day, feeling fine. So being the dumbass I am, I'm like, school's out. Big factor of my depression gone. I shouldn't need them now anyways, and continue doing absolutely nothing. And then 2 days ago I was in the car with my mom to go to my eye doctor APPT when I started feeling really sick. Not like coughing, sneezing, but just awful nausea. I'm deathly afraid of vomiting and thus try not to do it often, so I'm just absolutely miserable. At some point we get there, do the APPT, my eyes are still shit whatever. On the way back I feel even worse, went to throw up and just saliva luckily, but it was not a fun rest of the day. I just ended up sleeping the rest of the day and chalked it up to a mixture of car sickness and menstrual stuff, and woke up the next day feeling fine. However, later on that day it happened again. I was doing dishes and felt lightheaded, nauseous, and hot, sweaty despite the fan being on and windows open. I finished and just went to bed thinking I probably hadn't eaten enough. Also worth mentioning, I experienced my second ever bout of mania that had only ever happened when I missed my meds for a few days. I really should have put it together, but I'm dumb and far too lazy to care. Yet another effect of not taking my antidepressants. Then today. Oh, today. I woke up and decided that movement was just not happening. However, we had to go on errands and my mom wanted us to have breakfast first, so obviously chose Dunkin' Donuts. As soon as I got up to get dressed, wave of nausea engulfed me. But hey, it's probably just from not eating yet today. In the car. Wave intensifies, overstimulation from music, restlessness, and sweatiness despite air conditioning. Not fun. End up being too late for errands, so we go straight home. Food I ate, yet I just felt worse. I take my favorite approach and pass out as soon as we get back. Sleep through the rest of the day until like 5 p.m. Force myself to eat, use bathroom, etc., but no feeling better. I end up sitting on the couch and reading for like an hour before dinner. Can't make myself eat despite it being my favorite food. Feeling gross even after showering. Put off doing dishes because I've finally gotten comfortable. However, I go to do it and I feel disgusting again. I end up doing it and falling onto the couch straight after. Can't watch TV with rest of my family, too restless. Try going on internet, still feeling overwhelmed and gross. Decide to go to bed, mom reminds me to take my meds. I put it off for half an hour just sitting in my bed cause I feel too miserable to do anything, then it hits me. I do a quick Google, symptoms of withdrawal from antidepressants, and boom, it makes sense. Forced myself out of bed and immediately refilled pills, took tonight's dose, and told my parents, who spared me a lecture since I still feel like crap, but yeah, I've learned my lesson. Apparently doctors aren't kidding when they say not to suddenly stop taking meds. I genuinely thought withdrawal was something that only happened with harmful drugs, and now I stand corrected in misery. So yeah, PSA, take your meds. You might think getting up from your comfy bed to take them isn't worth it. I can tell you it's much better than the alternative, as I sit awake at midnight, uncomfortable, sweaty and ill. I hope they kick in soon. Too long, did not read. Didn't take my antidepressants for a week. Ended up going through the side effects of withdrawal. Take your meds, folks. You need to slowly reduce them. Best with the help of your doctor. Over a few weeks. You still might feel a bit off, but it's manageable. Coming from someone who was on happy pills for a long time, don't sweat it, no pun intended. We all do this at least once, the thought of, I've been feeling awesome, I don't need these anymore. Or, they are not helping that much anyway, what's the point? Then we stop for a few days and get the rude awakening. Lesson learned. It took me a while to get used to not taking pills when I was finally off them altogether. Good luck on your mental health journey, and take it from me, life does get better. I've had this exact fuck up before, but because I forgot to get them refilled in time. It's definitely not fun. I hope you are feeling better now. I stopped taking sertraline last year. Thought I'd done it slowly. However, after my last 1/2 a tablet I started to get these really horrible brain zaps. A bit like the feeling as if I was falling in a dream to them wake all of a sudden, but really quick. It was happening repeatedly for a few days and then took about 2 weeks to pass. Bloody horrible. No more antidepressants for me. Ever get brain zaps? Literally feels like your brain is being shocked every 10 minutes or so and it lasts weeks. You can't fool around with psyche meds. Your brain alters its chemistry to include them, and when you stop your brain suddenly can't remember how it used to do things. Today I fucked up by not stretching for 30+ years and not listening to my body. I am not a very flexible guy. I was never even close to touching my toes, and I have been this way for most of my life. So I have just learned to live with it. I am also a pretty strong guy and do a lot of heavy lifting, pretty physical jobs as well. So I usually get a sore back or sore muscles that I take muscle relaxers to help with the pain until it goes away. Never really stretching to help ease the pain. This never really caused any issues until about 2 years ago when it started getting painful around my waist when I wore a belt. I didn't really do anything about it, just learned to deal with it by not putting my belt on as tight around my waist. Everything was okay for a while until the muscles in my stomach started to really hurt for no real reason. My 2-year-old daughter had jumped on my stomach recently and I just thought it was because of that. Still, I did nothing about addressing the issue. Then my lack of maintenance on my body finally caught up to me last September, right before I moved into a new house. It felt like every muscle on the right side of my body constricted and made it extremely difficult to walk, put on socks, or even turn in bed. Even feeling this way, I still just worked through the pain, not addressing the issue for a month, thinking the pain will just go away. I had to use the muscles in my legs in order to lift my leg up and down to walk, making the muscles super tense. And when I went to bed, those muscles twitched a lot as they relaxed. There was also a muscle behind my leg right below the glutes that made it feel like someone was taking a hot iron to the back of my leg, making it almost impossible to sleep. So after a month of this, I finally go to see a chiropractor Otto, see if they can fix the issue. And after some very painful tests, she said my glutes were so tensed up that they were useless. And the muscles in my leg were trying to compensate for them. So she released all 3 glute muscles, which gave me instant but not complete relief. I next went to a physiotherapist to help further with my recovery. There she helped release more tensed up muscles until it wasn't too bad to walk anymore. Here's the thing, for the last 9 months of my life since it first became incredibly painful for me, there are still muscles giving me pain. However, I have figured out a solution. I have to twist my leg, body in a certain way to get that specific muscle to stretch. And once I get that painful feeling, I just stretch out that muscle aggressively, working through an immense amount of pain until that muscle is no longer painful. I have had to do that with every single muscle on the right side of my body, because I still get pain. I am getting to the point now that it isn't as painful anymore and I see a light at the end of the tunnel. But it has taken a lot of pain, effort and stretching to get me to this point. Take my word of advice. Stretch, it is important to your health, also don't ignore warning signs. Too long did not read. I didn't stretch for 30+ years and am now paying the price with an immense amount of pain. Yoga. Go to yoga. Take it slow, do what you can, but you will learn to stretch. Also chiropractors are scams. Find a doorway. Stand inside of it. Grab one side of the door jamb with both hands. Put your left foot over your right thigh and squat. You're going to stretch your shoulders, back, lower back, hips, legs, and feet. Switch legs, and do it again. That'll relieve a lot of lower back pain pretty much instantly. Honestly, stay the fuck away from chiro. Yoga, Pilates is the key. Also get an MRI to make sure you don't have any bulging discs, as I found one to be the cause of my back issues a few years ago and no amount of physio was going to help me with that pain. Go to a physical therapist before yoga. I know someone that did yoga and messed themselves up by overstretching. At best, both yoga and chiropractors will help you like a physical therapist, at worst they will injure you. Admittedly, yoga is far less likely to hurt you than a chiropractor, as chiropractors f with your spine. Since it is pain, it can be considered medical, so a physical therapist is the best bet. If you are lucky, your insurance will also pay for part of it. Today I fucked up by cheating on my boyfriend during the talking stage. TIFU. So when my current boyfriend, James, and I were in the talking stage 1 started in mid-November, my coworker also asked me and James and I agreed on no labels because we were going off to college soon. One thing led to another and my coworker and I began sexting in December, but it was very short-lived and I have never contacted him again and we don't work together anymore. James and I began officially dating in late March and things were going great. The other night he went through my phone while I was asleep and found the messages between my coworker and I. He left in the middle of the night and I didn't wake up until the morning and found he was gone. He turned off his location and ignored my calls. We talked over iMessage and I didn't deny anything and wanted to regain his trust and wanted to know how he felt. All of his feelings and actions were valid. He told me he felt disrespected, betrayed, and said that, "I honestly do want just let go and move on, but I'm just so worried that it'd be a mistake." And then also said, "Just give me some time, I honestly love you too, but right now I'm really close to calling it. This isn't me trying to punish you, but I just feel so betrayed and disrespected. We have mutual friends and I went to one that I'm close with and he and his current girlfriend went through something similar when they first started talking, so he's helping me." He said that because he responded in the way that he did he might be willing to work things out. But I feel so crumbled up inside knowing that I hurt him. I want to be by his side even if I messed up and he's angry and yelling at me. I deserve that. I just want to be there for him no matter what, and I did this to myself. I know this isn't a pity party for me because I'm the one that messed up, but I can't have an overwhelming fear that I'm going to lose him. I haven't been able to sleep or eat. I can't even sleep on my stomach cuddling the pillow anymore without crying because I don't know if I would ever be able to hug him again. I bought the same deodorant as him because I liked the way he smelled and now everything smells like him. I reached out to my boyfriend later in the evening saying that I should have never risked us, and that I'd do anything. Explaining how I felt, and why I didn't tell him. I was scared and we are so good together that I never wanted to bring that up because I was scared of the outcomes. I also said that I have no justification for my actions and that I take full responsibility for my actions. I also said I'd give him full access to all of my socials, emails, etc. as well as my journals. I then began researching about infidelity, its consequences to your partner, how to work through it, and how to approach it. I then said I'd do anything to regain your trust and you, but I won't force you to be with me. It's really if you're willing to forgive me and truly want to be with me. He then responded with "I know, and that's what I'm trying to figure out." I texted him good night and that if he wanted I was free tomorrow, today, to see each other, but no pressure, and I respect your decision, and ended it with "I love you, good night." He didn't respond last night to my text and then I messaged him "How are you?" and he left me undelivered. I'm not sure what to do. He's betrayed my trust by breaking promises, but I let him come over even if I wanted space. I know this is a lot worse, but I just want to see him and call him. I just want to fix this, and I know I messed up majorly, but during the relationship I have been nothing but faithful. I have no justification for my actions and I want to rebuild this, but I'm not sure where to start and how long I should wait. I am so deeply in love with this man. I don't want a past mistake I made affect our future. I can only imagine the pain I caused him and I never wanted to be the source of it. He is my everything and these feelings came after the coworker infidelity. I'm so lost. Update when I know something. Too long did not read. Summary: when my boyfriend and I started talking, I also began talking to my coworker for about a month and then stopped BF, and I started officially dating in March. And the other night he went through my phone while I was asleep and found the messages between coworker and I. He left that night while I was asleep and I called him in the morning, but he turned his location off. We texted and he wants space right now. It sounds like you and James were not exclusive when you were sexting the other guy. This was not cheating. He can't simultaneously want a no-label situation, and then get hurt because you treated it as a no-label situation. You weren't exclusive and he invaded your privacy. Fuck this relationship. He went through your phone? And you think you fucked up? Man, you really need to rethink this situation. No labels, no loyalties, no label privileges. You didn't F up. He did. How old are you guys? TIFU. By choosing Spirit Airlines. Background: I am a member of a Native American tribe, and therefore I get free basic dental and medical care at certain Indian health clinics. I do not have any documentation proving that I am a tribal member as I lost it years ago, but my dad does and he is located in San Diego. I have severe GERD and it does serious damage to my teeth. Brushing and flossing can only do so much to help when constant acid is rising from my esophagus. I don't have insurance and it's not easy for me to get care, so I have kind of just been using daily Tums and hoping for the best. However, a few months ago all my teeth started falling apart. At least 2 of them have chipped and I have multiple painful cavities all over my mouth, like more than 10, and my mouth hurts excruciatingly whenever I chew anything. Maybe I need root canals IDK. Not wanting to surrender to dentures. 2 months ago I called the Indian health clinic near my dad and they said they would accept my dad's tribal membership as proof of my own, and I scheduled the nearest appointment out, which was for this afternoon. The way it works is that if they do an initial examination and it shows emergency work is needed, they can schedule me to come back in the following days and I won't have to wait 2 months in between. So I booked a non-refundable hostel for a week and a plane flight for Spirit Airlines to get me there several hours before my appointment. This was the fuck up, but it was the cheapest option and the trip was going to take all of the money I could spare. If I had paid a little more with a different airline or to get there a day early, this wouldn't have happened. I got to the airport at 4 a.m., checked in, and sat at the gate. Right as everyone was preparing to board, the Spirit employee behind the counter at the gate suddenly announced the flight was cancelled with no explanation. People were saying it was because the pilot didn't show up, but I have no idea if that's true. After waiting in line to talk to the Spirit employee, they have no flight they can rebook for me until tomorrow, well past my appointment. She told me she could give me a refund on my $120 ticket that I could shop around at other airline counters with, but those tickets were for $500. I decided to get it on credit, but the travel app wouldn't sell it to me because I had another similar trip leaving at around the same time, and when it finally let me confirm I wanted it anyway, it had just sold out while I was booking. The remaining tickets are now $1,200 and I can't afford that. There is no way for me to get to my appointment and save my teeth. By the time I could do this again in several months, it will definitely be too late. Too long did not read. Chose to fly Spirit and now I lose all my teeth and continue living in agony. Honestly, you probably could have stopped at TIFU by choosing Spirit Airlines, and we would have all nodded and understood right away. Call your dentist. They might have had a dropout and are able to reschedule you tomorrow. Look for a college in your area with a dental school. They are almost always looking for patients to practice on and you get the free, cheap dental care you need. Seattle, Washington has a tribal health center that helps track your tribal documentation so you can qualify and now have their own dental services too. Cowlitz Tribal Health.any tribe. Maybe give them a call and see if they can help you. I think the real fuck up is not flying in a day before your appointment. Yeah, that may seem excessive and I know Spirit sucks, but airlines do these days to some degree. These days. If I 1000% have to be at a place on a certain day and I have to fly there, I'm landing there the day before, not 7 hours before. A shit ton can go wrong in 7 hours, as you have found out. Sorry that happened, don't mean to sound harsh, but seriously, that's the real fuck up.